everybody, and welcome to Game 2 of this Best of 5 series for the Battle of Masters tournament between OK.Nirvana and MYM Meet Your Makers. So, in Game 1, anti-spoiler alert, you have a couple seconds, is it? Put on your earmuffs, because I'm about to say something very bad if you don't want to be spoiled. But, OK.Nirvana did take it in quite convincing, in pretty convincing fashion. MYM tried to turtle very hard, but their Phantom couldn't farm as well as he probably should have in the beginning, and Fear's Doom got an early Blink Dagger, helped shut down Demon's Invoker, and then Lacoste's Weaver just ran amok all over MYM's side. So we're going into Game 2 right now, and let's see what happens. Can MYM come back from a 0-1 deficit, or shall OK.Nirvana take a commanding 2-0 lead in this Best of 5 series for the Battle for Masters Liteforex Cup? So, I'm going to actually fast forward a little bit through these picks and bans because this is a very long game, and yeah, I don't really want to prolong the game any more than usual. But we see that MYM raised a King J, who is Maelk, banning Syllabear and Weaver. Lacoste Weaver just totally decimated the MYM side, along with Fear's Doombringer. Once Fear's Doombringer controlled the mid-game a little bit, Lacoste could just free farm it up, and MYM didn't really have any answers because they had nothing to kill the Weaver with once Invoker got doomed, because PL was nowhere near stacked enough to fight Lacoste Weaver, and Lacoste was like 13-1 or something ridiculous in that game. Meanwhile, Nirvana bans the Furion, who I think was the first ban last game for them. Clearly respect ban for Maelk, because Maelk's Furion is probably one of the best Furions in Europe. Although I don't think he's really ban worthy. Maybe they just don't want to face sort of the global map havoc he can cause, and also he can push very well. He can sort of prevent you from pushing by pushing another lane, and just doing a lot of damage. And Maelk's Furion can actually farm pretty well in a hard lane, so he can get Midas, he can get Ultimate Orb in like 13 minutes against a hard lane, which is quite impressive. So, King J responds with a Doombringer ban. Clearly a nod to the last game where Fierce Doombringer just ran amok all over the MYM side, along with Omni Knight and Weaver. And we can actually see that MYM picks up Omni Knight with their first pick. A solid choice. I think in this case they prevent OK.Nirvana, who's probably practiced a little bit more with the Omni Knight than MYM, because I don't recall MYM ever using the Omni Knight recently. But Omni Knight was very pesky in the first game, and he sort of pigeonholes what carry you can go into. You have to pick sort of a Diffusal Blade carry if you want to fight the Repel, and Diffusal Blade isn't a cheap item. It's like 3.2k or something like that. And the last ban for Fear is a Lycanthrope. Lycanthrope, sort of the boss hero of this version. Can jungle very fast, has insane mid-game DPS, and he can scale quite well into late game, so the only problem is that he has a suspect early game because of his jungle, but he can jungle so fast that he gets items quickly to mid-game and just sort of runs amok, much like a Shadow Fiend could. So, King J had the first pick, he picked up the Omni Knight, and Fear responded with the Shadow Demon Invoker. I think this might have been a little bit of a mistake by Maelk. Like, if you pick the Omni Knight and you didn't ban either the Shadow Demon or the Invoker, what would you expect? So Fear put really strong picks for the first two picks. He picked up Shadow Demon Invoker, and that's going to limit what MYM can do. Invoker's long-range initiation can sort of disrupt a lot of team fights, and Shadow Demon's just the king of chaos. He's the king of chaos. He should be called Disruptor, not Thrall. But looks like Maelk decides to transition into an Earthshaker anyway, for turtling, for ganking, for probably decent laning. Because they're going to have their work cut out with them in the laning phase with these three picks. And he also picked up the Ancient Apparition, probably to play support as Pusher in this game. Pusher is not in this game, so I guess we'll see Maelk or Mania play the Ancient Apparition. I'm going to guess that he's solo, and that he's going to be in the tri lane, and Omni Knight will be in a solo lane. So, Fear responds with Lich, another lane dominance hero. It's clear that Nirvana wants to go for an early mid-game strategy again, and just sort of destroy the mid-game mid-game presence of MYM, which is really where they thrive in. It was a little bit weird to see MYM go for a turtle strat. That's not really their forte. They're more of to a semi-push, semi-carry strat that they like to transition to. So Maelk bans the Night Stalker and the Enchantress. Clearly worried about Enchantress. I don't really know why they banned the Night Stalker. I mean, he's an okay tri-lane hero. He's a strong mid-game ganker, but he doesn't lane particularly well. I guess he synergizes pretty well with Lich and Shadow Demon in lane, and he can cause a lot of havoc for a carry that MYM might want to pick up with their last pick. And I'm going to slow it down a little bit now while I finish talking about the picks and bans. So, OK.Nirvana bans the Clockwork and the Batrider, 2 long lane solos. That indicates that Lich will be, looks like Lich will probably solo against the hard lane, or Shadow Demon. I'm going to guess Lich because he can hold his own, but Lacoste is probably the best Clockwork in Europe, so it's a little bit surprising that they banned the Clockwork themselves. But maybe MYM are just a little too good to fall for Clockwork tricks that easily, although he gives an astounding map awareness. And they banned the Batrider, which Planet played okay against. He's sort of, well, if you saw game 1, you can see how Batrider fared against a long lane. He didn't have much fun at all. So, King J transitioned into Enigma pick, which is a solid pick with the Ancient Apparition, Earthshaker, Omni-Knight, just sort of a team fight juggernaut that MYM's clearly going for. And then he last picks the Dwarven Sniper, that he's going as late as possible. Like, if you're not going to pick a PL, Dwarven Sniper is probably one of the latest game heroes. And I'm going to pause it out here, talk about the rest of the picks and bans, although I won't spend too much time on it, because this is a long game and I need to get a move on. So, Sniper. I'm going to guess he's going to be in a tri-lane with Ancient Apparition and Earthshaker, and just give him free farm and try to farm it up as fast as possible. I'll be surprised if Maelk is on the Sniper, because he didn't really farm as well as he could have with the Phantom Lancer, so maybe he's got transition. He might play the Omni-Knight in the Soul role, he might play Enigma in the ganking jungle role, although I guess the Demon will probably play the Enigma. So, yeah, they're going clearly for the late game, and OK.Nirvana, before they saw the Omni-Knight, after they saw the Enigma, they saw, okay, a lot of spellcasters, we need a Fusel Blade carrier. But they decided to skip it. They decided to go for Anti-mage and hopefully burn Omni-Knight's mana before he can even get that far. And Anti-mage can be a terror once he gets the right items, and he can certainly blink in, disable blink daggers from Enigma or Shaker by just hitting them a couple of times, mana burning it, and canceling those blink daggers. And he can also, the problem against Sniper is that he's so far away that he can sort of shoot you, but Enigma doesn't really have too much problem. He can blink right up next to Sniper and sort of frighten Sniper away, because he bypasses Sniper's range and just makes it into an up-close and personal fight. So that's a little bit of a curious pick by Maelk, but I'm picking the Sniper with their last pick, but I guess it'll work out. So Fear responds with a Vengeful Spirit pick. He's going to be in the tri-lane. I'm going to guess that Shadow Demon will tri-lane with the Vengeful Spirit, although Shadow Demon does need levels, which is probably a better long lane solo than Shadow Demon. Alright, I'm going to unpause right now, and we'll see who plays what. So we have DBSH, who is Playmate. I actually looked this up. So the Batrider in the last game was Playmate, and DBSH stands for Don't Be Shy, homie. So that's a little cute. I like that. Playmate's a pretty cool guy. We see Mania on the Ancient Apparition. We see Demon on the Enigma. He's going to long lane solo. Or maybe they're going to do a tri-lane. I don't know. Looks like Maelk is probably just going to go down to the bottom lane to play some wards to help protect Demon. And we're going to see 7895, who is Misery, I think, on the Omni-Knight soloing mid. So, yeah. Where's Maelk? Maelk is on Earthshaker. Who's Sniper? Sniper is Playmate, Mania, and Apparition. Alright. Bad memory. F for the loss. So we see Fear on the Shadow Demon. He looks like he's going to solo mid. And we're going to have Invoker solo the short lane. And hopefully put up against the Enigma, where he can hold his own. He won't get as much experience, but he can also hold his own. And they're going to put their tri-lane against MYM's tri-lane, which I think is a good call, because Sniper is not a really strong tri-lane hero. Anti-mage is a little more offensive than Sniper, although Sniper can be a bit of a pain in the ass once he gets Shrapnel and his range up to a higher level, but by that point the laning phase will probably have been passed. So Universe is on the Lich. We see Come with me on the Vengeful Spirit. We see who was on the Anti-mage. We see, oops, I apologize, 1437 on the Anti-mage, and we see Lacoste, my favorite player, on the Invoker, and he's actually going for the Exhort build, so it looks like he wants to dominate his lane very early. He's not going to go in for the utility. This indicates that he's probably going to go for a more farming heavy Invoker, which I think might be a good call in this case. It's not like he's going to he's not like he's in the mid lane where he can transition to ganks very easily. So let's see what happens. So I expect that Fear will be able to keep back Misery for most of the early levels, but when Misery gets his Soul Ring, then he should be able to farm pretty well against Fear. That's just sort of the Omni-Knight with Soul Ring is just such a nuisance. He can spam his heal for free, he doesn't lose HP, he just gets free mana, and he can probably indefinitely stay in lane. Probably indefinitely, not definitely. So for you who's saying redundant, alright, forget it. My stuttering is just taking over, and it's providing me for extremely bad things. So we see Lacoste pushing Demon off, already has a creep kill advantage, but Demon has the deny advantage. And we see that even though it looks like the Sentinel managed to get their creeps to their tower all the way, and looks like Maelk is going to do some pulling, just try to get the creep equilibrium back to a reasonable point for MYM. But this is preventing the sniper from farming very much. He has 2-0. Doesn't really make too much of a difference. Let's check out the wards. I mean, looks like Universe placed the sword a little bit too late, but it will block out the next creep camp once it spawns. And Maelk planted this ward, protecting the Omni-Knight from any sort of roam ganks. Although Omni-Knight, once he gets the Soul Ring, will probably be just fine. But Shadow Demon's a potent ganker in that once he has the backup, he can sort of gank very effectively without any fear at all. So we see Demon going in for the double damage rune. He picks it up. Does he have a ward here? Yeah, he had a ward here protecting him and allowing him to spot the rune, so he might come in, go for a little bit of harass on Lacoste, but Lacoste is just taking this time to farm up, get some last hits. I'll be interested to see what item he goes. I don't play Invoker at all, so I'm not really too familiar with item builds in specific cases, but I'm gonna guess he might go for Hex, Ags, BKB, something like that. So we see Maelk about to pull again, a little bit of low action at the start, but it's only been 3 minutes past so far. So it looks like Misery just did some heal canceling right there, just to show that, hey, I can heal cancel. Are you impressed? Are you jelly? Yeah, you better be, because I can heal cancel, and you can't because you don't have a heal, motherfucker. Alright, anyway, we see Fear 10-2 to Misery's 9-3, so Misery's holding his own, but he's getting worked off the lane. But, ooh, Misery actually went for a fast bottle, which is a little interesting. I mean, he'll have a speed advantage if he gets up close and personal to the Shadow Demon because of his degen aura. But, I mean, Soul Ring is just such an awesome item on Omni-Knight. I don't really think you can skip it. It's just such a beast of an item on Omni-Knight in general. So, Playmate is proceeding to farm up. Misery is there, and Demon is here. Yes, I can totally watch the map now. Demon 11-4